Be the Talk, episode 181, featuring Lena K. Welcome to Be the Talk. We go behind the talk 7 days a week for tips and techniques to help you change the world. I'm Nathan Eckel, and a talker myself. I'm interviewing others who change the world with their talk. You can too, even if you've never given a talk before. Let's get started with today's show. We are live with Lena K. Lena, are you ready to talk?
Hello. Yes, I am. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited.
Lena K empowers people to master themselves so they can maximize their potential, take their results to the next level, and turn their visions into reality. From refugee to university dropout to broke and then broken, struggling with drugs and mental health, Lena transformed her life and now lives a life of freedom. Lena K, welcome to the talk.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
What a powerful bio. I know your talk comes right along on the heels of that. It's called 3 Steps to Transform Your Life. I don't want to steal all your thunder, but I love I believe it was your last step. And in the words of Stephen Covey, begin with the end in mind and imagining that perfect reality and starting as if you were already there. It's made a powerful impact on the way that I present this podcast, the backdrop you see behind me, the level of equipment that I'm privileged to have. It's so important, Talk Universe, when you begin as advanced and as far in your mind as you can and bring that into reality. So stealing your thunder, Lena K, over to you.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, with the talk, my whole intention was not just to share my story. It was how can I impact anyone who listens? Because time is so valuable. I don't want the last thing I really wanted was someone to listen to the talk and be like, So in my talk, I talk about my personal story of transformation, also some transformational stories from clients and other people in my life, but more importantly, 3 steps that you can apply to anything to transform any area of your life, to make it super, super practical and useful and valuable in that talk. So, that's really, what I talk about in there. And I draw from different kind of ideas and things like that, but mainly really through experience and through witnessing people's transformations as well. Yeah.
Lena, this is just so powerful. I need you to take us into your backstory. So, I mean, I when I read a bio and it's kind of an incarnation, I just call them incarnational talks. Yours is very special because it is you've lived this stuff. You have this amazing transformation that you've been through. And you also combine it with some of the proven techniques, neuro-linguistic programming, I think a little bit, and some of the real science out there of performance and the science of achievement. But when I read a bio like this, I usually have maybe 2 of maximum of the things that we have here. So we started with, refugee, drop out of university, broken, drugs, mental health. I'm counting with my finger. I'm up to 6.
Yeah,
and you probably
20, trust me.
Yeah. So I can count using my fingers and, so that everybody knows that. And, powerful stuff. Usually, for a person in their life, maybe they're wrestling with 1 or maybe 2 of those things at a time. You've got all 6. So can you just kind of summarize your own bio to let us know, how it all happened? I know you grew up in Kurdistan as part of Iraq, and we've been very familiar with that situation here in the United States because we, have not really helped that situation tragically. And just take us back behind your bio from your perspective, Lena.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was born in Kurdistan. And yeah, there's just so much, just like you mentioned, so much that we've had a close relationship with America. We've had, America in the last couple of years kind of completely disown, what's going on, the independence that Kurdistan is trying to seek. But I went to the UK with my family as a refugee of war. At the time, Saddam was bombing the Kurds, with chemical warfare. And so we left and we end up in the UK as a refugee. I went through school. I had a speech impediment. I had a speech therapist for many years because I used to really stutter. And I went through school, college, uni. And in uni is where you get a part-time job. I got a part-time job and I was so good at it that they very quickly gave me more and more responsibility. And so by the time I went back to uni, I was managing a lot of shops, a lot of people, and they were gambling establishments. So in the second year, they just noticed, their business affected when I was at uni. So they actually offered me a position, more money, more responsibility and everything to leave uni for that. And I did. In the second year, I dropped out of uni and I was running like 10 gambling establishments. There is a lot more that was going on at that time, which, we don't have time to get into, but really that looked like a good option for me at the time. So I took it and, I was young girl managing, having to learn very quickly to manage people, people older than me, people younger than me, people in different cultures. I went from there to business banking. Again, I became a team leader there. Everything kind of looked good on the outside, but really, I was really suffering with depression. I ended up with a brain tumor. To cut a long story short, by my mid-20s, I had a breakdown and I went kind of zoom like this from corporate leadership, living in the YMCA hostels, living on benefits. I was medicated for my brain tumor. It wasn't cancer, but it was on the pituitary gland. So that's like the master gland of the body. They couldn't even do laser surgery or anything. So they just put me on medication for anxiety, medication for depression. And I was self-medicating too. I was smoking, I was drinking, I was smoking weed, apart from cigarettes as well, meddled in cocaine as well. So I was really spiraling into darkness. And I really didn't think I would live to see my 30s. And it was then at my very lowest that I discovered the power of the mind to potentially change your life. And this is why I had to go into the sciences, because it was very hard to believe. Like, really? This sounds a bit too good to be true. You can just think positive in your life, you can change it. But that was my first step into transforming my life. So I had dealt with all those demons within me. And now, I do. I live a life. I'm really, like you said, privileged to say I live a life of freedom that I created, and I help other people create that too. So, yeah.
Lena, what I love about what you just said is that you had to get into the science to know how it all works. I mean, I think 90 out of 100 people would just be, okay, I've got my little magic feather, or I've got my little mantra, or I've got my, whatever thing, and people would probably call it a woo-woo. We have little disparaging names for that. And, whether it's a tradition, whether it's faith, whether it is some kind of a practice, whatever it is, it's always good to have science behind to know that something stacks up and it's not just founded by some leader somewhere. And it's good to have the science behind what you believe. So give us just a couple of principles. I know that weaved its way into the talk, which I'm going to let people know where they can watch the talk, but can you, let us know why are you that kind of person? What is it about Lena that needs to have the proof of things? Is it because of the need for social proof in the future when you help other people? What is it?
No, it's not social proof. It's convincing the mind, because it's very easy to say, oh, maybe that person's lucky. Maybe that person was rich. Maybe that person was, it's about convincing the mind that what you want is possible, whether it's healing, whether it's more money, whether it's love. And you need to convince the mind that whatever you want is possible. And then it's really learning, different ways of conditioning the mind for the end result. Like we were saying, conditioning your mind for the end result. Don't worry about right now. Don't worry about the steps. Just one step forward is enough, and it's how to kill the doubt, the self-doubt, how to gain confidence in that vision, not to listen to other people. There's a lot of, you have to be so dedicated. And this is why 92% of people, they fail at their New Year's resolutions by February. 92%. That's incredible. Well, if you want to be in that minority, you have to do things different. You have to look into it. The people who are skeptical, I think they're just lazy. Look into it. Look into the successful people like Will Smith, Oprah, you name it, The Rock, Conor McGregor, they all vouch by this stuff, but people listen to them because they're more billionaires, millionaires. But anyone can do this. Anyone can use the information to transform their life. It's out there, it's available. And if you're not lazy, if you're dedicated, you can make the change. It can happen for you.
We've been enjoying this talk with Lena K. Her TEDx Nishtaman talk is called 3 Steps to Transform Your Life. And we're pivoting over to you, Talk Universe, in your talk, because we're going to be back in just a second with the Blitz Round. People ask, how could I start a 7-day-a-week podcast? It's because of what I've learned from my mentors. Some of the best mentors in history aren't around anymore. They've left hours of one-on-one mentoring behind in their books. Each month at Classics on Tap, I record a new chapter from a classic business book to help you make a difference. Download your first chapter at classicsontap.com. And we're back with Lena K. It is time for the Blitz Round, in which I will ask her a series of either-or questions related to the preparation and performance of her recent branded talk. Lena, are you ready?
I am always ready.
Lena, were you selected to speak or did you apply?
Both.
How does that work?
So it works as in I was looking for TEDx talks, and I found that talk. It was already for me. It was like, oh, okay, it's already organized. It was like 2 months away. Mm-hmm. They already had their speakers. Everything's already done. But I connected with organizers and especially because it was in my hometown, the city I was born in. So I had to reach out and say, oh my God, this is amazing. You're bringing TEDx talks here. Also in the future, if you have talks, let me know. I want to apply and all this stuff. And so, we were connected for a while. And I guess because I have a lot of videos and things like that, they asked me, and I think they also vetted me through other people that know me as a public speaker, or they've seen me perform or seen my videos and things like that. And so, yeah, that's why it was a little bit of both. Yeah.
Talk Universe boss move that I talk about in my special Getting Your Talk Accepted magnet that you can download. The best of the best, they reach out ahead of time to the organizers. Not the first time we've heard that. Best of the best, that's what they do. Number 2, are you a memorizer, an improviser, or a blender, Lena?
I would have to say a blender, because you have to memorize. That's the format. You have to have the script. You have to send it to them in advance. So you have to memorize it. But for those of you that watch my talk, I had to improvise because the clicker, the day of the event, the clicker wasn't working. So I had to improvise. I had to just be cool and be calm and just deal with those, unexpected issues.
That's so annoying when the stinking clicker doesn't work. And that's another number 1. I feel like I'm on the Family Feud and the number 1 thing keeps dinging because so many people have clicker issues. Got to be careful with that clicker. Next question. Did you have nerves, or were you in the zone, or neither, or both?
Okay, again, I'll have to say probably a little bit of both, but more ready. Like, I was ready. I was prepared. I practiced so much. But I was nervous because it was also filmed on television, the largest TV station network in Kurdistan. So I was like, oh, wow. So a little bit of nerves, but I was ready. I was really ready. Yeah.
Lena, what's a tip, technique, or tool that helped you?
Practice, like insanely practice, schedule it in. I was not just practicing it with, people, but I was also recording it, and I was listening to it while I was driving. I was listening to it while I'm on the train, and anything that made me cringe or anything that I thought I can take that out, anything that was unnecessary, I just wanted to take it out, make it the best that I could. So just practice. And hearing yourself out loud as well helps you a lot when you can just hear. You're not even seeing yourself, you're hearing just the audio. And that really allows you to make little alterations as well.
Here's the cut for time question. What was the most painful part of your talk that you had to cut out?
They didn't cut anything out. It was even with the clicker problem and everything. Mm-hmm. Everything was just filmed and put up as it is. And I don't think there was anything painful, because for me, it wasn't about my stories. I took out loads of stories. Mm-hmm. It was about the audience. Mm-hmm. Is it enough to evoke an emotion, and will it have a positive impact on them?
So what I hear is you had such a laser focus that was focused on the audience as an experienced speaker and familiar with the branded talk format of a TEDx talk that you were already eliminating as you were creating.
Absolutely,
with the right prioritizations, and nobody had to coach you and say, hey, that's not relevant, or, what the things that they often have to say to us.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've got a business mentor, and I practiced with him as well. And he's very straight talking. My partner, my husband, who's my boyfriend at the time, he's very straight talking as well. And so they would give me feedback, and I would make alterations. It's good. It's really important to practice in front of people that can give you constructive feedback and tell you no to that bit or whatever it is. But ultimately, it's not about you, even though you're the one talking. It's about the audience, the person the people that are going to be listening, the one person who's going to listen and it's going to have an impact on them.
Other than the clicker, what was the most unexpected, strange, or just plain weird thing that happened during or right before your talk?
Okay, all right. So really weird thing that happened was my wonderful, one of my mum's uncles, okay, he came to the talk and I didn't know. So I'm like in the green room, I'm ready to go on. They're like, right, you're going to go on any minute. I've been ready anyway, right? I was the opening speaker, so I've been ready. I was up very early. And a few minutes before, my mum's uncle comes and I love him to bits, but it was like surreal. I was like, hello, uncle, I haven't seen you for years. What's going on? I have to go on the stage. I'm sorry, I have to leave you. So it was so lovely to see him, but it was so bizarre. And just very last minute, I wasn't expecting it. And so it was then, calm myself again afterwards. I'm about to go on stage. So yeah.
Lena, what's your advice to other openers out there?
Just you know that you've got this. You can't be nervous about that. You can't doubt yourself. There's a reason they asked you to open. So you have to just own that. Again, it's not about you. If you're insecure about that, you're thinking too much about yourself. It is not about you. It's about the audience. It's about, making it a great talk, a great opener for the audience, for the organizers. And you should be the last person on your mind. And that way you don't get nervous. You don't get insecure about it.
We're wrapping up the Blitz round that we have just enjoyed with Lena K. I want to let you know where you can go to check out her talk, 3 Steps to Transform Your Life. You can type that into YouTube, or if you just want to click, go to our website show notes at BeTheTalk.com. We will have a link to that in there, and we want you to connect with Lena K at LenaK.com. Easy enough. We'll have a link in there as well. And we will be back in just a moment with Lena K for the final word of advice. Everyone wants to change the world, but not everyone knows the first step. Before you can change the world with your talk, it has to be selected. So grab the templates, timelines, and tools that I use to get my talk selected at BeTheTalk.com. And we're back with the final word of advice with Lena K.
So if you are doing a TEDx talk, a branded talk, any talk, just be well prepared, know your stuff, know what you're talking about, and talk, be as authentic as possible. You're not there to try and impress anybody. You're there to speak a truth that can inspire someone, that can make someone think. It's about ideas worth spreading with the TEDx talk. So just my best advice is take the attention away from yourself and think of the audience. And that will help you in how it's written, what it's going to sound like, what you can take out. Don't get personal about things you need to take out of it. Again, it's not about you. If you think of the audience, then that will be your best kind of grounding point, is to always think about how it sounds to them.
Lena K., thanks so much for taking time out of your schedule to join us on the talk and share your wisdom with Talk Universe.
I appreciate it. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thanks for listening to Be The Talk. For tips and resources to help you change the world, go to BeTheTalk.com. See you tomorrow.